Okay.
What is that?
How's everybody doing?
Hey.
Hey, doing great. How about you
You're
guys?
Good. Good. I feel like I was rushing. I always try to do too many things at once before our show. Even on Fridays, I'm guilty of it. Like I'll be cooking and grilling and getting things ready for her for when we're on the show, and I'm like probably 10 minutes before you saw me, I was cutting steak up, like just so that just trying to spin plates.
I get it.
Spinning them plates.
Hey, Mike.
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 Thanks
Yeah.
for joining, Mike. I don't think you were on the last one. Hey, Landa.
Landa.
Linda.
Hey,
All
Linda.
right. See, we're good to go now.
So, I mean, this is actually really close to when we did the last one. I mean, comparatively, like if we're only doing once a month, it's pretty close together, I guess.
What's the name of the one that we're looking at tonight?
The graveyard is called Spring Grove Cemetery. It's the third largest cemetery in the United States of America. And if it's only the third largest, I'll tell you, I can't even begin to comprehend the other two. Because this graveyard, I'm trying to coax Cecil into going with me.
Yeah.
So that I have more hands.
You definitely need some more hands for that big old thing.
It's probably I would say conservatively you could go back 6 to 8 more times and still not have covered everything.
That's good.
Yeah.
So a couple things with the footage. There is, so the first one we're going to watch, it's 7 minutes ish. And it's just us getting started walking, just trying to fill out. We drove forever trying to figure out the best place to park. And we landed on kind of a section that looked a little bit older. Oh, okay, Landa.
Awesome. Thank you.
But we ended up parking. I get the stuff out, and the GoPro, I was telling them this after the show last night. The GoPro sits in a case, and you have to be very intentional on turning this GoPro on and off. Deliberate. Like it's a hard press to get this GoPro to go on and off. The GoPro's on. I'm walking for 7 minutes. We're looking around at everything. And then I point at this grave, and you'll see it, and the video just goes. And I didn't realize. Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
I think I clicked that at the same time. I'll let you handle that, Morgana.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, the GoPro is good to go. It's beeping blue. I point it at this certain grave, and then it cuts off, and I don't realize it for like a quarter mile into this. So I may skip it around depending on, because there was a lot of walking too. So if it gets boring, I'll just skip it to sections where the big monuments and stuff are.
Okay. Sounds good.
But let me get it pulled up here. What do you guys think about it?
I'd like to go just
seen
to the
it.
pictures you sent.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'll try to maybe if one of you could email that picture to me, I'll share it at some point.
Have you got the Freddy shirt?
Yeah, it's the tarot card.
You damn it. I've been wanting that shirt and I can never find it. You prick.
Yeah.
Damn it.
No worries, Alan. Alan says he's driving back from a Bigfoot festival.
Oh, nice.
Cecil went to a festival today. A
Yeah.
festival of nerds, it sounds like.
Tumbling Con. It was all right. I mean, I'm just not around a lot of people. I can't handle it. And there was a lot of body odor because it was really and I just can't handle it.
I tried to so like I said a minute ago, this is really close to the last time we went out and did this, and I took Stephen's advice and bought a gimbal. It had not arrived yet whenever I filmed this video, so I don't know how shaky it's going to be either. I'm just going to give full disclosure, but
Last time it was okay. You did good.
I did do better about like continuously kind of searching the area just in case. Let me see here. Let me share.
Share it, brother. Does this one have sound?
No, none of them are going to have sound because we're going to be talking through them.
If I ever film anything, I'll probably have sound. You'll hear me farting every
Well,
single.
there's a button here that you can actually just mute the video. but anyway, yeah, I mean GoPros do record sound. But I would rather us be able to talk through it. But anyway,
I emailed you that picture, Tully.
Okay, when we get to kind of that part, I'll share that with everybody. But we start out we ended up parking close to this mausoleum. And I'm just trying to get the camera around for the first little bit. I'm just trying to get the camera like settled around my arm and stuff. I thought that was weird that there was it almost looked like a Crusader cross on this one.
Uh-huh.
And you'll see as we get through the video, there's a ton of Masons in this graveyard.
Well, that's pretty.
Wait until we look out back.
I was talking to someone yesterday about this, this show and everything. And she was telling me that there is a cemetery somewhere down here that is like 75% of the people are Masons. So
Wow,
I'm going to get that information too.
I was just trying to get a feel for how old this section was. These were actually some of the newer graves, if you can believe that we're going to see.
Yeah, 73.
That's a common style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big, beautiful lakes all over this graveyard too. That's another big mausoleum over there. You can see the comparison in size to a car.
Uh-huh.
Did you catch any fish?
Yeah.
I wanted to. There was a big old bass. There was a big old bass that came up out of the water, and I'm like, I wonder if they would probably arrest me for fishing in that lake.
No.
So
I'm sure they allow fishing.
Well, this graveyard only has one way in and one way. It's gated. It closes at like 5 p.m. every day.
Okay.
It's like the most famous graveyard in Cincinnati. It's north of Cincinnati, but all of your really wealthy people from Cincinnati, everybody with money's buried here.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah, the obelisk.
That's a small one compared to some of them we're going to see.
They're probably wealthy if they're eating off of stuff. I like that you got the Yoda in the picture. That's good.
Did I get a Yoda?
Your car, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like Star Wars.
Nah. I mean,
I try to peek into all of these just to see, because a lot of these have very cool stained glass in the mausoleums.
Oh, that's really nice. Tree. That's a really cool scenic background. Stained glass right there. It's a nice little pond.
1840s.
Tree.
Some of those were young too, like 4 years old. If you didn't know, fun fact about Cincinnati in the 1800s, there was a huge cholera outbreak that killed millions of people.
Nah,
Really?
did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm glad they caged it off because this looks like a haven for shitty teenagers. Like,
I mean, the walls around this thing look like fort walls, like huge, massive concrete walls.
Really?
so that leads me to ask: would this be a good place to survive a zombie apocalypse?
I don't know.
It's fortified, but
It is fortified. It's just probably
Yeah.
extremely haunted. So
Hmm.
this is a Taft. For those that didn't
Really?
know, President Taft was actually from Cincinnati, and
Okay.
everything like there's tons of buildings in Cincinnati that bear the Taft name from this family.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
President Taft is not buried here. I think he's one of two presidents buried in.
Arlington.
Yeah, I think he's
Arlington?
buried. Maybe not Arlington. Maybe it is Arlington. He's buried somewhere in D.C.
Okay.
I know. Ain't Kennedy buried in D.C. too, though?
I think so.
Yeah, that's where the eternal flame, I believe, is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you'll see all kinds of strange stones and stuff in here too. That I tried to get as much as I could, but like I said, this place is just insanely huge.
Yeah.
You'll also see some.
The writing on that's kind of unique for
It is.
tombstone.
You'll
Yeah.
see some that are literally just boulders with
Boulders?
people's. Yeah,
Okay, maybe I'm just weird, but the whole idea of a bench being part of a headstone bothers me because
yeah. It
it's
is a
something
bit
about
weird.
sitting on somebody's head in a
These were all
cemetery.
over.
Daniel Boone's buried in Frankfurt, and in that graveyard, there's a bench, and they have built a statue of the person that's buried there, sitting on the bench, so you can sit with them.
Ooh, that's
Ah.
even weirder.
Yeah, it's kind of
Oh, this graveyard's also an arboretum.
hmm
So there's like competition national trees here and trees from other countries. So you probably see some interesting foliage as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do they have any kind of markers or anything denoting that this is a tree from wherever?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I'm not sure. I think I got a glimpse of some of them, but
oh.
maybe not all of them.
No, it's fine. I just wonder.
This was probably 15 to 20 feet tall. That marker here.
Good. That. Yeah.
Wow.
I've never seen markers that size. There's nothing like that down here.
Wait until you see. This is the big, kind of bigger obelisk here. You have to something that may give it a little bit of perspective. So those headstones are pretty standard size. So each one of those headstones is pretty big.
I bet that's a 30 foot tall. I'll be Lisk. Right
Yeah,
there.
it's probably between 30 and 50 feet tall.
Jesus.
Good night. That's crazy.
Is it just like this? Is this just like where the rich community's buried or something that they
It's-
have these or?
It's the third largest graveyard. You're going to have people with no money, people with all of the money. The
Is that
richest.
a couch? Is that a couch?
You kind of have a
It looks
couch
like-
look to it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bench. Another bench stone.
Well, all right. With somewhat we covered, with how some of the like what was it with the druids and stuff like that. We talked about how people would lay on a grave all night to try to receive information. Do you think those benches could be in some kind of correlation to that?
Could
It very
be.
well could be. That's
I'll-
actually really interesting thought.
There's something that I didn't get to explore. There's actually a lodge on this graveyard premises.
Really?
So I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing some crazy stuff here at night too.
Yeah.
So to the left, I think I point the camera up here. It looked like the
That's
dark place in the Lion King, so I didn't go up there. It was very, very dark on the left way. So we started walking up through here, and my camera's about to go off here in about. So there's graves where all of that sun is. I'm about to start pointing at them, and my GoPro gets a hard stop without me touching it, full battery, and there's no explanation that I can think of on why this GoPro turned off.
I really
Yeah.
want to get an aerial view of this graveyard because the way the road's laid out, I've already seen a crossroads, and I've seen another one too. I wonder if they got the roads in some kind of like pattern.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
kind
it
of
makes you
grid
wonder.
or
What did you
Well-
say the name of it is?
That was the hard stop. Let me see what the grave.
Oh, okay. See, with this right here, this is weird because this happens to people when they're out bigfooting. Is
So-
you'll have stuff where your lights go off, full battery, your recorders stop, full
Yeah.
battery. I mean,
Well-
it's the same weird stuff that
So
goes
these
on.
graves up here, I did end up walking up through here and looking at everything. There were some very decorated individuals through here. All these are 1800s graves. There was one grave that really stuck out because it was a World War I and a World War II veteran. But I can't say that I really felt anything here. Like it's not like I looked back on this specific part and was thinking something weird is going on. I don't know, Hadley. But yeah, that's the end of the first one. Let me get the second one ready here.
When it comes to these bigger graveyards, like I really want to start getting aerial views of them, just to see if like the roads do make some kind of weird design. Because
Well,
I mean, we do that with cities and stuff all the time.
I didn't get to comment on that a minute ago, but I sent you guys the aerial view.
I was going to say, I have an aerial view pulled up and it looks kind of like a tree.
Oh, I don't look at anything anybody sends me really.
Well, yeah, it's evident.
I try not to. I want to be surprised.
I'm gonna send it. If you can email that to me, I'll pull it up too. But let me get the second video here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pull that up as well.
That is not the second video. That's the only thing I don't like about this camera is that at least this particular time, it didn't layer the videos in order. Okay, so you're not going to get my ascent up this mountain, but so basically from the point that the camera stopped, we walked up a mountain. You're going to see going back down the mountain. But we got all the way up the mountain, and I'd filmed all of this crazy stuff before we realized that the camera had been punched off. So I restarted the camera, and I tried to cover all the tracks that we lost because of the camera being turned off. But let me share here. Okay. So we're into some really big stones because we started at the top of this mountain.
Yeah.
And you'll see some very intricate designs on a lot of these gravestones too.
They're real nice.
1819 for this one.
Yeah. The road
Yeah, Morgana,
system
I don't know. Hadley sent a message that we are hearing a little bit of feedback. I don't know if something's hitting your speaker.
Yeah, I think I may have just had my thing too far away. Just let me know if it continues and I'll turn it off and back on.
I wonder what the no. I've never looked into why people put obelisk in cemeteries. I always wonder why.
Well, the origin
Draws
of the
down
obelisk,
power.
Okay,
the
so
origin of the obelisk were from Egypt, as far as I know.
Yeah.
this, I'm trying to. So it says on tired eyes, on tired eyes, they're sweetly lies. The softest of all slumber is what that reads.
Wow.
And when I walk past this stone here is when my EMF goes off. And I start freaking out. I start freaking out because that's never
How
happened.
ironic is that?
Yeah.
I mean,
You see the names on those stones?
Yeah. It
how
was
many George Hills were there right there?
all of them. There was like 3 or 4.
Oh.
Wow.
So I stop here because I'm like, what is that noise? And I couldn't, by the time I pulled it out of my pocket, it had stopped beeping and was showing 0 again. But I'm like looking around and freaking out. Because I'm like this EMF has never made a noise before, and it just starts going crazy next to this grave.
Maybe that's like the Mary, Bloody Mary thing, like George Hill, George Hill, George Hill, George Hill. Like, release something. Huh.
Yeah,
Well,
very, very strange. That's the only EMF hit I've ever had walking through graveyards.
I feel like, I mean, some people say they see stuff in graveyards, but I feel like in graveyards, that's the least likely place I would see anything. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, like this.
Oh, there you go. There's an old Mason.
Yeah.
That was whenever they were still putting that sign on there instead of the scales or whatever it is.
FLT chain link.
Yeah.
It's like an old symbol.
Yeah. Yeah. Now they put the square and compass on all of it, I think.
Yeah. So this thing was massive. That obelisk with the statues on it, each one of those statues was probably 12 feet long, 12 feet big. And the overall structure was probably 80 feet tall. And I know it's hard to get perspective, but the picture I'm going to show, I'll show the picture after this.
Are those copper?
Yes.
Yeah,
So that first one said, "Believe the distressed."
Friendship.
There's something about death on the other side too. This was trippy.
Truth, friendship, truth, friendship, and truth, friendship, and
Oh, you can't see that. Love.
You couldn't have anything like that around here because people scrap it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt.
Let's see.
I think that it was 1819, Mike.
It was 1855 to 1919.
Oh, okay, got you.
But wow, that's really intricate.
Yeah, that thing's as tall as the trees.
You see this big orb up here? This big black orb?
Yeah.
That thing, like you could have put your whole body around it. Like it was, that thing has to weigh an incredible amount.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, for a
you see the turkeys? Did you see the turkeys?
No.
There's turkeys over in this area.
Huh.
Like if you peek through I think I show them again.
So this might be a good place for a zombie apocalypse. I mean,
Yeah.
there's lakes for fish. You've got turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was turkeys all over the place.
You got structures. You got wood to burn. Huh.
Oh yeah.
You have mausoleums to hide in and reinforce.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What was that? Was that a snake skin?
Pine cone.
Pine cone. I used to smoke those.
You can't eat the seeds out of a pine cone.
I mean, for a final resting place, it's real beautiful. Like they do really good.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I have to say that it did feel peaceful here.
Real cozy.
Yeah.
It did not feel malevolent at all, even though my EMF went off and the camera got turned off. I didn't have go ahead.
One thing that I do notice is how much space there is
Yeah.
between a lot of these.
This was a baseball player, I think. Yeah. Or no, that wasn't the baseball player. That's a Mason, I think.
St. Louis Lodge.
Yeah. Was that 1896 when he died?
Mhm.
Yeah. Big
Check
old
that out.
So what is that? The Die Glock?
It's
The
good. I
German,
don't.
the German
Yeah.
bell.
Well, and what's crazy is people have planted most of these trees that you see are just decorative trees that people have planted that have grown over the last 100, 200 years. Those people's actual headstones were under that tree.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow.
So yeah, you can kind of get the feeling of everywhere, literally everywhere you look, as far as the eye can see, through every tree, you're seeing more and more obelisks and
That's so
more and more
strange.
graves.
What
Look
are
at
all of the like hydrants?
that. You haven't noticed them yet?
No, I have, but I'm wondering. I mean, do they serve a purpose? It's a okay. You were looking and got thirsty. Turn it on and get a drink.
I
or-
don't know.
I think they used it to water the premises, honestly, to keep it, and that's probably what it's for, honestly.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
I've never seen a cemetery with hydrants throughout.
And you can
it.
tell that's like 1800s infrastructure. Those are
Mhm.
really, really old.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I mean, it's really neat place, really. I'm gonna have to research obelisk a little bit more because there's so many of them in this.
Right.
Well, another thing that I hope that I got on video that we get to, there were some mausoleums that were dug back into a mountain that were
Really?
absolutely. I mean, one of them's very creepy looking. But I just hope I got that on camera.
Yeah, I wonder what direction these mausoleums face and stuff like that, because some of what I've seen, with the Masonic things, it would be it would be pointing a certain direction, all kinds of crazy stuff involved in it.
That was a Mason too that we just saw.
Yeah.
No, I agree. At least on this specific mountain that I'm talking about, there was. I mean, everything seemed to be facing the same way.
I bet that
Yeah.
obelisk you just seen feels inferior.
This one, it fell over and just kind of disintegrated into the earth.
It might not fell over. They might just put it there.
That was in the trees. I wanted to see what was in this flower pot too.
Yeah.
In case you could get a little pinch of it to take home.
Yeah,
Which leaves.
I had to step up on that to even get the GoPro in there.
Really?
Yeah, that wasn't a headstone, by the way. I just wanted to see what was in it. Okay, and I think that pretty much, yeah, you kind of can see a little bit. I mean, these are roads that run through the graveyard. This isn't like a main road.
Yeah, I sent you.
That bridge is cool.
I sent a picture of a aerial view of
That's
the
not
cemetery, and the road system in it is just crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let me stop
That
for a
little-
minute.
That little sitting area was pretty nice right there. I thought it was a bridge at first, but
Yeah, there's places like that all over the cemetery.
Wow.
Let me see if I can show. You said you did email that to me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me pull that up just to give people some perspective.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever seen a gravestone around here that dates before the 1800s. Mike, I think it was who was that just said they seen one in 68?
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I don't know. That it's so weird that I don't know. History, like each one, it's weird to. I'm kind of going off on like a little stoner tangent. I'm not a stoner anymore. It's weird to think about all these people and what kind of lives they will lived and stuff like that.
I absolutely think about that the whole time I'm walking through these places. I don't think that's a stoner thought. So this is me. Here's the gravestone where I got the EMF hit. I'm almost 6'5", and this is me next to this gravestone that read about eternal slumber.
I don't want to say anything, but you really look like a teenage girl walking through there with the shorts and the hoodie on, and it's covering your butt.
Well, it's probably. I mean, it's not a hoodie, but okay.
What is
But
that?
yeah, I just I wanted to share this to get perspective of how these are actually massive. I mean,
yes.
the scale was absolutely astronomical on these things. Let me see if I can get the aerial view up here before we get to the next video.
I looked at the map you sent. I didn't see nothing that stood out to me.
You might have to zoom in on it a little bit to. I couldn't zoom all the way in to take it all in.
I didn't get I don't think I have that view in my box.
Okay, I'll send it to you email.
Okay, and I'll share that here in a minute. This is the area. This is the area that we're in. So this is the whole graveyard, and out of all these videos, we're in a circle about like this. So when I say that we can go back like 6, 8 more times, that's kind of what we mean. I mean, we really only explored this section here. The section we were just looking at is maybe right here. The first section, we started here. We walked up this road. We looked at the crossroads here. We walked around the bend, and this right here is where my camera went off. So what we're going to see now is the area kind of in between these 2 points.
That's wild.
Let me see.
I feel like I'd get lost in that place. Like
it is that's a valid concern that I had as well. The only good thing is your GPS will literally work there. Like well, yeah, I mean, for what that's worth.
Yeah, that road system.
that graveyard in Frankfurt would be a fun one to go to. Totally, the one with Daniel Boone's buried. There's all kinds. Miss Elizabeth's up there from wrestling.
Really?
Yeah.
Macho Man's Miss Elizabeth?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Okay.
I stumbled upon here and I about broke down in tears when I came up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said the last time we did this, anywhere you guys want to see or go, I am down. I love historical stuff like this. So this is after I realized my camera got cut off.
There's a shadow, man.
I turned it back on, and we are now going to look at everything that we missed because my camera got mysteriously turned off with nothing touching it. There's no controls on my stick either, so it couldn't have been that.
There's so many of those obelisks or whatever. I hate saying that word because it's a hard word for me to say. Obelisk. Obelisk.
Whenever I think of the obelisk, I think back to the Tower of Babel.
That makes Hadley, I will pull the map back up and show you that basically around the curve where my camera got turned off, I made a right, and if you turn to left, that's where the really dark area was. And you'll probably get to see it. I'll tell you when we get there. Because I point down one of these mountains, and the dark area was down through there too. We get into some very, very interesting stones here in a minute.
Take that back about 10 seconds.
Oh,
What,
Did
What
you
is,
see that?
what was it?
what is
What
that?
was that down there?
hang on. Did you see that moving?
Yeah, what is that?
Are you guys talking about like something moving
Yeah.
through here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of saw something. It looks like something walks behind a stone.
Mm-hmm. Right there.
Ooh,
Yep. And then it's gone.
Huh.
Should we play it one more time?
Yeah.
yeah.
I,
Slow it down.
I don't know if I can slow it down or not. It sure does kind of look like something.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
That was a good eye, Cecil.
Yeah.
That might be the first unexplained thing that we saw. It just looked kind of like a person walking behind a stone, Mike.
Yeah.
But you couldn't make out any features really.
Yeah, it was so far away from the camera that it was just a dark looking something.
Could have been a shadow.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Just an FYI, the Miles Standish Burial Ground in Duxbury, Massachusetts is the oldest burial ground in the U.S.
Wow.
And it dates back to, where did it go? 1627. 1638 is the first grave.
I thought this grave was sweet. Sacred to the memory of a great love. Husband and wife for 52 years.
Really? Yeah.
Love has no death, is what it says.
That's cool.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
good for them.
And now, the closer I get to this bank side, you're going to see some more interesting things here. Very
What?
unorthodox stones.
Yeah. What was the book?
I
on
think
there?
that was a Jewish grave.
Ah, okay. So it would have been the Torah.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to go get a peek inside of here. Which, I mean, keep in mind, I'd already walked through this whole area. I just re-walked it because the camera went off. There's another Taft.
Oh,
Really?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
That obelisk was probably 50 feet tall.
Now I want an obelisk, and I have no intention of being buried, but I still want one.
I just want one to put out in the yard.
Right?
That'd be nice. Shadow Man.
What?
Oh, yeah, we need a road trip for sure. Oh, look, Jesus. Though that stuff right there, that's really impressive. Like the stained glass they have in these.
Yeah.
I think I go back down to this creepy one that I was talking about a minute ago. Or at least I hope that it caught it.
Like that stained glass work is not easy to do. Like, I don't know, that's pretty nice stuff. Or it used to not be. It's probably all done by machines and AI now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a neighbor that does stained glass by hand still. She goes every Tuesday and works on it.
Oh, here comes a weird one. Here comes a really weird one. I remembered. I'm glad I hit this. I'm almost positive I hit it again. Yes, this could be the strangest. Maybe I didn't.
That's a mausoleum right there, right?
Yes, this is the strangest stone that I saw of the day, probably.
What is that?
It's literally runes.
Wow.
It's like an old. It's got to be an immigrant stone of some kind. It's runes, and it looks like snakes intertwined. Easily the coolest stone, probably, that I saw of the day.
Wow.
You can see it's just in a nonchalant area. Like, it makes no sense that was there.
Yeah.
And it was carved out of sandstone.
Wow.
Really? And it has the snakes on it. So
yeah, and this might be the creepiest mausoleum that we're about to get to.
Ooh.
Very ominous.
Well, a wizard's grave makes perfect sense for that.
It really does.
it's very,
Is that
very
brick?
old.
Is it what?
Was it bricked up or was that not the front? Oh no, there it is.
Ooh, I like that gate.
I couldn't get a look in there because of the way the gate was made, but there's definitely no back painting or anything in that. But I didn't feel good looking at that.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we're making our way back up the hill to start hitting some of these other obelisks and stuff. And I'm telling you what, like I said, nothing in this video really has good perspective.
Yeah.
But definitely got to work out in this day.
You gotta hold your thumb up.
Yeah. Yes, it
Oh,
does.
yeah.
Well, then you don't know how big my thumb is. More old water spigots.
Huh.
On another service road here.
But don't.
I'm afraid to skip it too much because I'm afraid we'll miss something weird in the background, like
Yeah.
like we saw a minute ago.
Willy weird.
So back there in the dark,
Yeah, that dark spot.
there was a jazz musician, and I didn't make it back there. I lost that footage, but maybe on another trip I'll re-get that footage for everybody. We're about to hit a huge ridge line right here, and they were digging a grave. What's a weird shadow? Did you guys see anything?
Well, I was looking at that dark spot behind that stone there.
It's like, is that a shadow on that tombstone, or was that stain on the rocks?
I think something that
what-
tree looked weird.
Yeah, it looked like it was a small shadow. It didn't make sense beside the tree.
Yeah. Huh.
So down over this ridge would be where the dark place is that Hadley was talking about. Down that ridge is more graves, and it's really, really dark down through there. And you're about to see a pretty beautiful landscape over this ridge in a second. There's kind of the pulse on what the years are looking like. So through those trees, if you really look, you can see more graves. Like that is like just infinite graves.
Wow.
As far as the eye can see, literally.
It's a very decorated cemetery for sure. Like trees everywhere.
And it's a little bit more shaky just because I'm on a pretty steep incline right here. I know you can't tell.
Yeah, cameras do not do justice for the terrain.
They were digging a grave down there.
Did you get in it?
No, they were jackhammering. I didn't want to bother them.
Really?
Yeah.
You need to go out there and get some footage, Ash.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like we've been saying.
Wow.
Anybody that wants to get footage of any of this stuff, definitely we're. Even if you don't want to do the show, you can just email the footage and we'll play it and talk through it.
Yeah.
Who was that old Flam fella? He had his face on his.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. 1817 on that one. Yeah, that would be awesome, Ash. I'm not sure what Hadley. I thought those were weird.
Yeah.
I started seeing some that there's more than those too. That must have been popular at a certain point in time because there was a lot of like open book graves.
Yeah.
And it looks like every one of them you've shown have been in Hebrew.
This is I'm
Yeah.
sure I'll get a better shot of it, but this here is a Celtic cross.
Mm-hmm.
It's very very neat when you get up on it.
Oh yeah. Wow. That'd be
And I would
cool.
say that was probably 15, 20 feet tall.
Mason.
Mason. Lots of Masons. Lots of Masons.
What did that say? Husband and what?
I didn't notice. You want me to go back?
Yeah, it said husband or something. Was it a
Whoa.
person's name?
Hang on. Husband of Grace, and Grace is buried
okay.
next to him.
All right.
Uh-oh. Okay, here's the Celtic cross.
Oh.
That's beautiful.
Also one of the cooler ones that I saw of the day. And here's a boulder around this corner. Dude just wanted a boulder.
As a rock person, I can respect that.
Yeah.
Sure.
1881. So the boulders lasted so far.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
There's the grave being dug. They don't come back to it until a little bit later.
If they were having a jackhammer that, then what is the soil type?
It's the ground here is very hard. But a lot of the reason for that is they remove a lot of the topsoil, and it's just very, very dense clay. And under the clay is bedrock.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably like my property, like 6 inches under the topsoil is nothing but rock.
Ours is that red clay. I mean, so if we plant something, we dig it out about 4 times bigger than we need and pour topsoil in it.
That's a good. Keep this in mind. You see how flush these are to the ground?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As we look out at a lot of hills that you see where it looks like there are no graves, all of these are covered in just flat stones. So
there were some that were just buried up in the dirt too. Like they've been there for so long, they just kind of like been engulfed.
And you could see, I don't know if I'll point back over there again. Yeah, like you can kind of see there. I mean, this is all the way down that mountain is just stones that are flat.
Mm.
And then it was the same. This is where I lost the camera the first time.
Ooh. I want an amethyst geode.
So there's probably 20, 30 people buried in this area, and this is where my camera got turned off.
Yeah.
When we were coming. And if you go up here and turn right, that's the dark road that Hadley was asking about.
So I think you and Cecil should go back and go into that dark section.
I live in the dark section.
Or Hadley and I need to make a trip up and we can go to the dark section because we ain't scared.
Totally not stand at the light line.
There you go. Y'all okay?
Go look at that.
Go right.
Now we're getting back into stuff that we already saw, and I'll pull up the last section here, which is we get to see this beautiful pond and Otto Armletter, which is I guess he was a figure of power at one point in Cincinnati, famous before modern day vehicles. He was like a tycoon of horse buggies.
Nice.
And I guess he was so important they literally put fresh flowers on his grave every week, which you'll see like the flowers that are there from this or whatever week it was.
Wow.
Yeah. They just do that in perpetuity. I guess the taxpayers pay for it. Like I'm assuming this graveyard's big enough to where it gets an allotment because it's also historic.
Yeah.
So this is the pond where I saw the big bass. And there's another pond. I want to fish all of these ponds. But I'll tell you something. Hang on, let me pause it. I'll tell you something very grim really quick. At any pond that is around a cemetery like this, you can fish them, and the fish are living there are probably pretty big. But never eat a fish that you catch close to a cemetery. Any caretaker of the cemetery will tell you that over the hundreds of years that these have existed, the mountains surrounding them, there's literal runoff from the mountains that are embalming chemicals. So never eat a fish that you catch near a cemetery. This graveyard, it's called Spring Grove Cemetery, north of Cincinnati. It's the third largest graveyard in the United States, and we're definitely going to have to do like 17 more parts eventually.
Up there in Shitty Natty.
This area is beautiful.
Yeah.
These were probably 100 feet tall. Those are decorative arbor vitae that somebody had planted next to a grave at one point hundreds of years ago, probably.
You need to get a scooter.
Well, I wanted to see all the graves along the way. So this is Otto's chamber. He has a pretty cool stained glass. I don't know. It was on the right side. I tried to get it. There's his flowers that are always there.
I agree with Landa. I think that there's something in the flowers that are like, keeping him inside.
That is like some kind of crazy seal that was in there. I was trying to get a good shot of it.
That gate, that looks like some Irish type, I don't know, design. Maybe.
Is Rachel just following you, filming you with her camera?
No, she's probably on her phone.
Can't believe he's got me out here doing this again.
Yeah, she entertains my weirdness. Is what it amounts to. She actually loves cemeteries and stuff like this too. She just ain't into the podcast and stuff.
Look how thick the metal is. Or is that tubing?
Yeah, that's a metal gate.
Yeah, that's.
Nobody's been in there in a long time though. Did you see all the cobwebs?
Yeah.
I don't want to say this, but those designs on that gate are a little pedophilish, I think is the word for it.
You think so?
Now?
Yeah, ain't that one of the sigils in the FBI book of that whole ring?
I don't know.
Oh.
We'll go back and look at it after we get done.
I could be wrong. I hope I am. Maybe it's just something that will whenever he gets buried, but
yeah, that was. Ooh.
I'm probably wrong.
And if you see shadows on the right side now, it's probably cars. There is a service road.
Oh. Why ain't there any grass on that? Was that a new grave?
Where?
That grave you just passed with a flag sticking it with no grass on it.
Oh, I guess it was. It has a stone, but no grass. I never even noticed that the first time around.
That's not new either.
No.
Maybe sometimes they get out of there. Yeah, that would be awesome, Ash. We'll definitely play it if you can get us like 30 minutes of footage. If it's that big, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes though. you know, because not all of these has to be one adventure. Really, like we could play 2 or 3 videos from various places.
If I ever get off my lazy ass, that's what it's going to have to be.
So these are still pretty old.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
So again, don't think there isn't a ton of people in here because there's not big stones. This was an area where they were all flat to the ground.
the way
Yeah.
that the lettering is on some of these is pretty unique to me. Like I've never seen lettering like that. Like almost like I don't know, like how metal bands do their lettering.
There's some weird ones that I see down
Is
through
that like
here.
bas relief? Is that like bas relief on that right there with the raised letters?
Yeah.
Some of the letters are actually chipped off of some of these where they're raised like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When did they stop doing raised letters, do you think? Because I don't think I've ever seen raised letters on one until this. Well, I've seen like the stone cut out of round letters before. That kind of made
Yeah,
more.
well, up on top of that ridge line, I don't know if you guys noticed, there were some that were marble. I hadn't seen marble graves like that, like big obelisks that were marble.
Yeah.
Here's some more books.
Mm-hmm.
That's creepy, dude. Huh.
So that must have been popular in the late 1800s.
That puts me in mind of that thing I think Happy tagged us in or sent us the 300 million year old book.
Oh, what about a 300 million-year-old book?
Or a 3 million year old book. They found a petrified book.
Oh, you think it's just a gravestone?
It might have been.
The area that I'm walking down, we kind of watched the video weird because of my camera being cut off. We're walking toward my EMF hit. I do need to go back and listen to the audio and see if anything weird got caught on the voice recorder though, because so far we have weird shadows. My camera got manually turned off, and the EMF went crazy. So I'm wondering if any of those sections maybe caught something weird on audio. If we did, I'll play it the next show.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me get us somewhere here. Okay, yeah, I think I'll start walking away from the road now because I saw all these monuments on the ridgeline here. More extra huge monuments. And don't get me wrong, I love the flat ones, but just the amount of money that went into these stones is just amazing to me. Like even these small stones that are sculpted like this in today's currency would probably be like a couple $100,000 at least.
Yeah.
What's that, Tigger?
What?
Is that Tigger?
Dude, that's a woman like crying.
It looked like a tiger from a while back.
Yeah, Alan.
John
Alan
here?
asked if there's any paranormal activity. Alan, my EMF went off at one of these stones. My camera got manually turned off on a hard press button, and my camera was screwed onto a selfie stick with no manual controls. So I would say that yes, it is paranormally active.
I wish there was like a way to definitively prove something like that.
Well,
The one thing that we've seen so far, I'm starting to think it was probably a shadow, but it did look
and
really.
it very well could have been, but there's no. I mean, you saw the EMF; it was reading 0. Like, there's no electrical disturbance with the EMF that I have. You literally have to touch it to an electrical outlet to get it to go off.
Really?
Yeah,
So
it's
they
not
were-
it's not that sensitive. Like, it's not gonna just pop off if you're within a radius of something. Oh, I stick the camera in this hole. I just remembered that. I'm like, I gotta do it.
Totally sticking stuff in holes. Some things.
Well, I mean, how often do you see a tree with a big hole in it?
That is a weird hole. That's like almost like one of them trees from follow. What's it
Listen.
called? Follow.
The camera is going into any strange hole.
That's what I say. I don't think the tree's gonna put off EMF.
It's hollow.
Dude,
Did you see
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
you should punch that center out and send what was in there.
Then the spiders would have come like pouring out and shit. Because
Nope.
I assume it's some squirrels in there playing poker.
That's the journey hole.
I won't watch that new scary Pooh Bear movie or whatever. Winnie the Pooh Bear. Bear Pooh.
And now we're starting to get back into the area with the big statues and stuff.
Hmm.
Like the copper statues.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we just did basically a big circle.
That's a big fat obelisk right there.
Yeah, it is.
I would say the cheapest monument is more expensive than any monument in any cemetery I had been to.
Yeah.
Like, I just think about cemeteries back home. Like, you may see a tiny obelisk, but you're not seeing 50, 80 foot, 100-foot statues and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
And you have to think for this kind of stuff, it had to be some kind of monument maker in Cincinnati doing this
Yeah.
that was like absolute pros at chiseling and manipulating the stone. Those are 1800s. Another boulder over there.
Yeah.
And again, you can look like anywhere you can kind of peek through the woods, you're going to see even more monuments. Like, it's just never ending, or at least it felt that way.
Okay. Well, I do have a question on the boulders that you found in there. Did what was the date on those? If you remember.
I think the one was 1850. I don't know if I get the second one.
I just wonder if those are boulders that are already there naturally and they just purposed them for the headstone, or how did they move them back then? Is what I would like to know.
Oh, it would have to be some kind of pulley system, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
all of the stuff. Yeah,
wagon.
When did cars really get popular? Not the early 1900s, really, like
Yeah.
1930s.
Yeah.
You have to think a lot of this stuff was probably Horse and carriage.
Is that a lobster? No, that's a snake on that. What is that? Is that
I
a
thought
snake?
this was weird. I don't know what it is. It was like two rings intertwined.
Huh. Wow. That's unique. It might have been like a chain or something. I don't know.
Something I thought was weird on some of these obelisks is the points were chipped off of some of them.
Really?
Just the points.
Do you ever think those statues are watching you?
I don't think that crossed my mind at the time. No.
They are.
But now you won't be able to unthink it.
I hate going into any kind of like place that has statues like that. It scares the hell out of me.
Well, I think that is a good initial tour. I hate that. I hate that we lost some of the footage. I had some really cool footage on that other one where my camera got turned off. But definitely going to do more trips. Just don't know when yet. But if Ash wants to go to where was he talking about again?
Up in New Hampshire, close to where he lives.
That's where all the really old graves are going to be, is up in that area. Like,
Yeah, all of the old graves that are going to be marked. But see, you have a lot older graves, but I guess that they may be graves because since they're Ohio, that's where the mound builders they did a lot of earthworks.
Oh yeah, that's true. And Hadley texted. I guess she's having trouble with some of the social media stuff, but she said the reason some of the obelisks were missing is because they were made of gold at one point.
Yeah, the
oh,
tips.
Really?
That's
That
a good
makes-
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
No pun intended.
But yeah, it was absolutely like I still, for days after visiting this graveyard, I was just thinking about this place.
Yeah, it's
Like
nice.
nothing malevolent or malicious, but just I was in awe after visiting, and hopefully me and Cecil can get back out there and do another perimeter, because there's stuff on that map that are like it kind of gives you an idea of what all is out there. Like there are let me zoom it in. I'll share it one more time. I swear, Morgana, it has to be like, are you using a wired mouse still?
No, I'm not.
It sounds like whenever it happens, it sounds like you have a wired mouse and the mouse wire is rubbing up against whatever your microphone is.
Okay, so maybe let me try this.
It stopped. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so it's good now.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, it's actually the cord to my mic was hanging off the desk, so maybe as I'm bumping it, it's so sensitive. So,
I bet that's it.
okay,
it.
so now we know. We'll make sure that doesn't happen again. I'm so sorry, everybody.
No, I'm sitting here. I'm like trying to think about what it sounds like, and I'm like, it sounds like a cord rubbing up against something.
Yeah,
Totally
that has to be it.
You live
So-
about an hour and a half away from the Serpent Mountain in Ohio. You should go to there.
We could. So here's the
That's fine.
circle we did. This is the dark area, the woodland area, and to answer Hadley's question, we started here, we walked over, and whenever I cut through here, this was the road that was in like complete darkness. So when we go up, there's a very ominous section here called the megalith. So I'm curious to see what this is. It's got like two uneven stones. It reminds me of the Georgia Godstones.
Really?
just the way it looks on here or something. But I might do, because there's also a columbarium and a cremation garden here, which we really haven't seen any cremation stuff yet in our video. So maybe the next trip I'll plan a circle in here. But yeah, you can see this is a lodge, a Mason lodge, I imagine. You got lots of just lakes and ponds and soldier monuments. You've got all of these. These are actually mausoleums, indoor mausoleums. I don't know if I'll be able to film in the mausoleums because we did stop, and on the door it says you have to call security to get access. Like, I guess they pop a door for you. So I'll see if we can get in there. But this historic funeral home here, they can do 4 funerals at once.
Wow.
Really?
And as you get up here to the top, the cemetery continues beyond this for 300 acres. This is just the historic part.
Wow.
So the cemetery goes on for another 300 undeveloped acres that you just walk off the road into.
Wow.
I will not be doing the 300 acres unless there's some really cool stuff. But what I can commit to, and what I will commit to, weather permitting and everything else this winter, I will do my best, and hopefully Cecil can join me for some of it, to get through everything that we see here and see, what else is out there. Like, whether we catch anything else on camera. I feel like the shadow stuff may be easier for us to comprehend without any leaves on the trees.
Yeah. And if I join you and we have to walk that much, just be prepared for a bunch of bitching and complaining.
You gotta get your cardio up, dude.
Yeah.
Cecil,
Go
get
your
you a
treadmill.
golf cart.
Yeah.
You drive.
We got the
Get a scooter.
HBIC.
Better. I kept thinking Jennifer was going to wake back up, but she's still snoozing from her trip.
Oh God, I forget sometimes how crisp your microphone is. Like crispy, like it. You got maybe the clearest microphone of all of us.
Yes.
Alan, I think that there's some spooky places there. And honestly, the vibe of that whole place might change once the leaves fall off and it's not beautiful anymore. And
Well, it's that woodland area. That's what I was curious about. That woodland area in the middle of that cemetery. That's and this is why I popped on. There's something in there.
Well, let me just say that I can't take a gun there.
Why not?
Because
It takes some sea salt and some.
I mean,
sage.
you could. It just gets questionable with Ohio. Like,
Ohio.
Well, what I was gonna say is, it's interesting that one area doesn't have any graves in it.
Well, I'll tell you, when we drove around a bunch to try to find, like, we actually got to the top where that 300 acres is that they were talking about. There's a car there parked. There's a funeral going on, and the car's back windows were shot out. So that's why we kind of drove around to look for a peaceful looking spot. And there's issues. Like, Ohio's really weird about like cross-state guns. Like, there's just a lot of nuances to it. So maybe I'll go in there. Maybe when the leaves fall off, it'll be. I feel like it'll be easier just to see everything and make sure that there's no human components involved. You know what I mean?
That's where I want to go. I want to go in that wooded area. I bet there's like a little hobbit house out there or something.
I had y'all on my big TV so I could see a lot better. Like right now, y'all are like little bitty bitty people, like
Yeah.
like little like Barbies bigger than y'all should be a giant. But yeah, so having it on the big screen, when I said there's a shadow back in the woods, it
Yep.
looked like there was a big dark spot that was moving, and I know Steven saw it too.
It was behind that one square headstone.
And it
Where
moved.
it kind
It
of stood
moved
up.
it.
Yeah.
It
Behind it.
when I first saw it, it was like standing upright. Well, and I'm saying standing. I don't know because I wasn't there, but it looked like it was standing up. But then when it moved, like you moved like to the next frame, and it shifted over. And I'm not saying it, but your camera shifted, and it looked like it was something that was crouching down, but it was sideways now.
Okay, that is weird.
Yeah, that's the disadvantage to watching videos like this on an iPad or something.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, for us, we're kind of doomed because we have to do the show.
I've got
Right.
a 32-inch monitor right here. I can catch most everything.
So that right there is helping you. Since you have that
Yeah, I
Um,
saw a lot. Y'all are really handsome and all on TV. Morgana, you need to get a bigger thing. I couldn't see you, but y'all all look really nice.
Yeah, I
Um,
have to deal with it all the time.
You're very
I have to deal with it all the time. You said. So I mean, what do you guys think? Do you want to keep doing this show? I mean,
Yeah.
do you think this is fun or?
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I enjoy
I don't know.
this.
I don't know what the peanut gallery thinks, but I think so.
I mean, if as long as you guys enjoy doing it, like
Mhm.
I'll keep getting out and getting footage, and hopefully the people watching, like Ash and everybody, will get out and get footage, and you guys get out and get footage,
Well,
Yeah,
I've
I
got
will
a
do
couple
that for you.
places I want to go.
Yeah.
and we will just do this in perpetuity. We'll just plan like once a month. We'll get on and, we won't cap it to an hour. We'll just, as long as we, as long as we need to go, we'll just go. If it's a 30-minute show, we'll do a 30-minute show. If it's 3 hours, we'll go 3 hours.
I don't
Yeah.
know if they'll let us film it or not, but Mandy and I intend on going to the Bell Witch Cave next weekend.
Ooh.
Oh, awesome.
But they do tours now, so I don't know if they'll let you actually film.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
Well, I would say that around Halloween they might not.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I'm gonna go. There's a place called Dean Stand that I've had paranormal stuff happen, and there's a place called Rocky Springs that I've had some stuff happen. And there's graves. There's small graves like the size of one of your mausoleums, small graveyards at each of those spots, and one of them has a well, like a really weird well.
Really?
We need to try too to get to Rodney, where the Windsor ruins and stuff are.
That's kind of on the same way. Maybe we can make a day of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because
But-
that's always been fascinating to me.
Yeah. And something I love about this too is it's like empowering all of us to adventure more.
Another place too, Morgana, is the battlefield at Vicksburg.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff around Vicksburg. I mean, they got old plantations, the cemetery, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the old ship, is it still in the river?
Yeah. Last time I was there, but now it's been a minute since I've been there too.
The last time it was not in the river, but it's by the river.
By it now.
But
Abandoned by the river.
it could be moved. I don't know. Who am I to say? I don't know.
Yeah, I will video some. I've got a graveyard that's less than a mile from the house, and it does have some older headstones in it. Nothing even close to what you videoed there. But they have
I
some
don't
that are
think-
a little more unique.
There's another place in Lexington I like to film, but I don't know if they'll let me, called Rhino Spearmint Club. I'll see if I can
Stop,
get
dude. Stop.
Well, there's at Rocky Springs, that little town died of yellow fever, and
Oh,
so there's a lot of little graves there, and they're pretty old. I think like the newest one's like in the 1900s, but most of them are in the 1800s.
Now, Cecil, there is a very, very haunted graveyard close to you. I don't know if
Which
you would go
one?
there. Barberville's main cemetery.
Oh yeah, I've been there 100 times.
Barbable's main cemetery is listed on every top 5 most haunted graveyard list when you start looking into it, like in
I'll hit it
Kentucky.
up. But
Ooh.
in Pikeville, there's a witch's grave too.
You know what, Hadley would also be fun, not so much for anything paranormal, but just because it's interesting. Over in Vicksburg, they have Cedar Hill Cemetery. There was one camel in the Confederate War, and he is actually buried in that cemetery.
Wow.
You know, another one, like if we wanted to make a day of it and go from like Jackson to Natchez,
Mhm.
that Natchez cemetery, that they say that angel, there's an angel stone in it, like
Mhm.
I guess gravestone, that they say that its head turns.
Really?
There's a grave in there's actually a ghost story behind it. It's something Hatcher that I've actually
It's Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher. I've actually went to it and I've got footage for it, but it's kind of shitty, so I'd have to go back. But it's like 3.5 hours away. But that grave, it's a big statue of her, and apparently it turns and faces the hotel where she used to live.
They had to chain her to the grave to keep her there.
Yeah,
That sounds like the Yazoo City Witch.
She was a witch.
yeah. They dug her up at one point just to look at something, and there was claw marks on the coffin.
Well, I bet
Really?
Scott Baker and Ash would have fun doing this because they're so close to Salem and
Yeah.
all the stuff in Massachusetts.
Well, I want to see it all. Like I want to see like any historic places. Really, like it doesn't have to be just graveyards.
We
Well,
need
that's
an
what I was-
asylum.
That's what I was saying. Next season, we should save our money this season, and then next season have like sporadic outings where we have a pair, like maybe 6 for the year, where the 5 of us try and go somewhere really effing cool and have a paranormal adventure. But that would give us enough time to put money in a bank for it, you know, and kind of decide where we want to go and where we want to.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to.
I'll start selling blood right away.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, $5 here, $5 there.
You're gonna have to plan. You're gonna have to make a plan on how to get Cecil out of the house.
We're going to get an RV and we're going to paint it like that van, like the mystery machine.
You set up his exact room in the
I see them all the time that are super cheap, but I just sold my Armada, so I might have to let one of y'all pull it. One of y'all with a truck.
I'll pull it with a sensor.
Well, I thought this was fun.
It was
Yes,
fun. I
I-
always like these. I like seeing it.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of stuff in what you sent. Like there were times when and I'm not one to see things, but I could see like where stuff was in the video.
Yeah,
That does not make any sense to the untrained ear, but
I'm sure it looks better like on a big screen. So hopefully, the people who watch us on bigger screens.
well, I saw what moved. I mean, but I couldn't tell what it was. But if I'm going to go back and rewatch and see if I can stop it and see.
Yeah, that
You can
sounds cool.
slow down on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you can. That's a good point.
Yeah, you can slow stuff down on there. Anyway,
We'll figure out a good. We'll figure out a good date for November as it gets closer. We had to do earlier this month, just so everybody's schedules is free that wanted to jump on. But appreciate everybody who stuck it out with us and watched. And definitely some weird stuff going on. Very weird stuff at the graveyard. We're gonna go back and we got a lot of cool stuff. It sounds like coming up. So keep joining us. And we'll keep knocking it out. We'll keep doing it as long as you guys want.
probably a little longer.
Probably.
And send us ideas too. Send us ideas on places to go.
Yeah, any user submitted footage is welcome. I guess send it to. Well, I guess it depends on how big the files are. If the files are really big, you should still be able to upload it to like Google Cloud or something and email it.
I was going to say, if nothing else, I've got a ton of cloud storage. So just let me know and I'll send a link.
Yeah,
I just got a mental image of somebody sending us some footage, and right in the middle it cuts to them to Buffalo Bill style.
Uh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
don't do that. But
Unfortunately.
I guess they can send it to weirdrealities@gmail, right?
Yeah.
So just weirdrealities@gmail.com. Any footage you guys get, just send it there, and we will play it. And if you want to jump on and cover it,
Yeah.
you're more than welcome. But
Oh, yeah.
if you don't feel like actually jumping on, because to like tell the story, I mean, it would be better if you were on camera. But if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine, and we'll cover it.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. No problem.
but
Yeah.
thanks for watching.
There's also a lot of Indian mounds in Mississippi too.
That would be cool. That would be really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, from Jackson all the way to Emerald Mound. But you know who would be cool to go out with would be Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
She would be a
Yeah.
fun one to take. She does a lot of her like Reiki when people are becoming Reiki masters under her as their teacher. She'll take them to Emerald Mound or some Jackson, Mississippi was built on a volcano. It's dormant now, obviously, but she'll do some stuff around where it's grounded.
Okay.
That'd
Crazy.
be cool.
Well, people, thanks for watching. And join us next month. We'll let you know when the date is as it gets closer. Send us your footage. And until next time.
Join our newsletter mailing list.
Join the newsletter mailing list. Like us on all of the stuff.
Check out Tully's awesome TikToks if you're on the TikTok.
If you
absolutely.
love the Chinese Communist Party, please.
What?
And don't forget wearing the phone and watching Wyrd.
Yeah.
Watching Wyrd every Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central.
Watching
Weird.
I don't know.
You're on Thursday.
Weird awake. Fuck. I'm
All the stuff, all the weird stuff.
When does
all
the
funky
campfires, the blondes and campfire? How often is that?
They usually try and do it every other week, but they've had some like sickness and stuff, so they get kind of off kilter. But they're awesome.
Okay.
So.
And what day of the week is that?
On Wednesdays, on Weird Wednesday.
There's a new wearing the
And
folk
Scott
that we
Baker's
talked
on I don't know. Well, y'all, I don't know when Scott's on, but he's on. He's got he's broadcasting on our channel now his history stuff and and something
cool.
else on Tuesdays.
Yeah, real
talk. Whenever he can get folks on, he does real talk. But then he's doing the battlefield something too.
I did post a right before this show. I did post a new TikTok on the Eileen Moore Lighthouse. So if you're interested in that, you can go check that out too.
Well, I wanted to ask you because I watched your TikTok on Poverty Point. What you thought about Poverty Point?
It's interesting. I think people thought that it was interesting too. It gives me just the dates and stuff. That's why I threw the picture in. It gives me flood vibes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I thought you would really like that.
And I've got the other suggestions too. I just didn't. I'm trying to like post stuff in different parts of the United States every week, and like I've got the swamp monster on deck for next week.
Ooh,
So
the Honey Island Swamp Monster.
yeah. So Alan asked how he gets the newsletter.
You go to weirdrealities.net and there is actually a link where you can sign up. And that's usually out by the 5th of every month.
Morgana does an amazing job on the newsletter.
She
puts a
does.
lot of work into it.
Well,
And
thank you guys.
the weird kids have been great about submitting some really cool stuff. I know Sylvester Barzy has, and Rich and Joe and Alan. They keep it full. And of course, Scott Baker. Y'all know he's everywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's got a new book out too.
Yes.
The newsletter does not disappoint.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I enjoy it. As a matter of fact, if you have anything you'd like to submit, get that to me, guys.
All right, y'all. Stay weird.
All right. Y'all guys have a great weekend.
I haven't had